Hi, I'm Matt from Matt Ash TV. I wanted to make a preface of this video to say that what you're about to hear is pretty much one of the hardest things that I posted. And I'm posting this now just because it's been 6 years since this individual has talked to me, and he doesn't want to talk to me because he knows that everything that I said during our conversation was pretty much one of the hardest things that he heard, and it was the hardest thing that I had to experience. There is going to be a couple of redactions in this video. A lot of it is swearing. Some of the other redactions that I'm going to have as well is participants in the camp that I know and that he doesn't know. Things that are things and events that are unrelated to our original conversation. It is going to be mention of drug use, and it is going to be mention of personal family stuff. So I'm just going to let you know, I'm not going to say in any order, but if you hear silence in the videos, it's because the original redacted version, or the original unredacted version, is things that I just don't want to have on the internet for personal reasons, and you're going to have to respect it. If you want an unredacted version, you're going to have to represent me, as far as I'm concerned. Without further ado, please listen to this full clip, give it a like, share it. If you have any questions for me, please leave it in the comments. Be respectful as possible. This is one of the hardest things that I have ever had to experience in my life. Without further ado, here's mine and David Matheson's conversation. Also, please don't judge me. I was like banging on my table, and I was very nervous to have this conversation. I haven't spoken to this guy in 6 years, and he just texted me out of the blue. So let us continue. How are you? Oh, I can't hear you for some reason. Just give me a second. Oh, you're mute.
There, okay.
It feels very 2020. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having this meeting. Thank you for wanting to meet with me. What made you want to meet with me, by the way?
You asked me to.
No. What made you text me?
Oh, I was texting a whole list of people to let them know about this project that I was working on.
Okay.
And you were on the list.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was interesting. I was like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Yeah. So, what did you think about my interview? What did you think about what I told you?
What?
What did you think about my interview? What do you think about what I told you with my experiences? Because I knew you didn't know, and I knew it was like a 6-year gap, so I was just wondering what you felt.
What I usually feel when I hear about those experiences, which is this is not right, this should not happen.
Yeah. But it did happen.
You're talking about the documentary that was with Rich Weiler.
Yeah.
They spied on Rich Weiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rich is really a piece of shit. Like, I had issues with that guy from the beginning. I was coming into this program because I grew up with a Jamaican father, and my dad would kill me if I would come out being gay. Simply put. Okay. So I decided if I wasn't able to come out and tell my story, then I'd have to come out in the media. And then when I started coming out, then you came out. So my first CBC interview was your nationwide interview, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That was my first thought. So.
And why? What was behind that?
Why? Why? Because I really didn't know what I signed up for. I really didn't know. I really didn't know half the stuff that was happening to me at gym. I didn't know why. Like, I didn't know why that I didn't get any support, especially when that guy was stalking me. Like, that guy could have killed me. So I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know who to reach out to because no leadership was available.
Yeah, Jim's leadership structure is kind of non-existent. There's Rich, and that's pretty much it.
And they treat him like a god, and it's weird.
Still.
They do. Well, I have my ways. I spy too, but like I told Rich that somebody drove 8 hours one way to stalk me and my family.
So what? I guess I'm not connecting the dots of what that has to do with Rich. Did he turn
Well,
on?
I met this guy through your program. And I couldn't come out. Like, I couldn't come out of my own community. I didn't know how. So I was afraid, and I didn't know who to go to. I don't know.
Did you try going to the police?
I almost had to. I had to leave my town. I had to leave. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was young. I was in my 20s. Like, I didn't know who to reach out to. He yelled at me in my own home to take off my pants, dude. He yelled at me in my own home to take off my pants. His face was red. I was a Christian at that time. I was praying to him, holding him by his face. I said, God, if you're there, help me get my friend back. And then he, like, seriously, the scariest shit. And I was triangulated, so nobody would actually talk to me or believe me. So I basically was on my own. And then that led to the CBC Marketplace interview that you saw, where I developed some habits that I didn't want to do. The day that I wanted to kill myself, that I said in the interview, I did, and I wanted to die.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And I don't do anything right now. I'm good, but still, I had some of the most traumatic things in my life because of the program that.
So what I understand is that you met this guy at gym.
Mm-hmm.
And so in your mind that makes Jim liable for everything this guy did.
I mean, I told Rich. I mean, I tried to tell Rich, and Rich didn't want to listen to me.
What did you expect Rich to do?
I wanted him to at least talk to me. And he didn't talk to me.
He wouldn't even talk to you?
No.
Okay, that's not cool.
Yeah, I still have the messages. He did not look at my messages at all and blamed me for everything. Like, I was nice, I was kind, I did whatever, I did everything that everybody asked for me, and it put me into a very rough spot. I'm good now, I'm good. I'm in school, I'm having education, everything's cool, but if there was something that was to happen down the line to any of the participants that had a similar situation than what I did, where's the contingency plan? And that was the concern. That's the concern that I have. So I didn't know really what happened. There was no contingency plan at all for Jim. If something were to happen like that, it's dangerous.
So in other words, if someone stalked someone from Jim.
That was heavy. Yeah, because a lot of people that go to these camps have a lot of mental health issues.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So what are you wanting to ask me or tell me?
I
don't have any.
Yeah. So what's you're the thing that you designed in Tulum it's a lot like gym. How is it different?
Well, it's gay affirming,
Okay.
which is a world of difference. I mean, the protocol is specifically is different, but that I don't think is what you're interested in. But it's gay affirming, and I mean, it will hopefully help build community with people who have gone to it will be able to form a community afterward. I mean, that's one of the things about that community that was good when it worked well. What you're making me aware of is that there needs to be a contingency plan when things go awry. But the challenge there is that the entity, meaning the company, whoever's doing the retreat, can't be responsible for what the individuals that go to the retreat do.
Okay, but if there's nobody to talk to, that's a problem.
Talk to for what?
If there's nobody to talk to, if something was to go awry under the care of you, that's a problem.
Okay, so let's clarify something. I don't think that you should have considered yourself under the care of people who change a Rich Weiler. You were a participant in their retreat, but I'm not sure how that establishes care.
There still should have been some contingency plan or somebody to talk to when it comes to something serious like that.
Well, that I certainly agree with. And what that person...
That's just flatline basic stuff. Like,
sure.
that.
I mean, I agree with that for sure. And what that person should have done immediately is tell you to contact law enforcement.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing, I mean, first of all, it's not Rich's responsibility what that guy did. He's not responsible for it.
Well, yeah, yes and no. Yes and no.
Yeah.
How? Because it was still under the care, and there was weekly meetings, and I wouldn't be able to meet that person if it wasn't for the camp. So it's even if something happened outside of the camp, there was still no contingency plan.
Okay, so I'm not sure how you construct a contingency plan.
I know. I know.
I mean, again, the contingency plan would have been, I mean, Rich should have talked to you for sure, and that's like Rich to not do that. But then he has no legal obligation to you, and he should have told you when he talked to you to contact law enforcement, and that's about all he could have done.
At least, but there was nobody there. Like, I had nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, and I know that was hard, and that Rich is not, I mean, I'm not a fan of Rich, that's for sure.
What happened to you and Rich?
Are we switching to that topic now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what your answer is, and I know that we're going to have disagreements, and that means fine.
Yeah, so my answer is basically, as douchey as Rich was about it, people could change on Rich White. I had no obligation. There's no formal obligation.
But
there's nothing that, I mean, if you have a legal precedent for that, I'd like to know it because I want to be aware of it for what I do. If there's a legal precedent or a legal obligation that you're aware of, then absolutely I want to know that. And when I decide mine, I'm going to be asking, a lawyer for, and probably a lawyer for what are the responsibilities that I have if something like this happens. First of all, what is the legal responsibility I have? But then second, there did need to be someone to talk to you, but not, it wouldn't be, I mean, Rich is not a therapist, and you were not under his care as a therapist. He's just a life coach, as you know, it's part of the problem. Yeah. So I think it's, as much as I don't like Rich, and as much as I think that he should have talked to you, I'm not sure that your expectations are, I'm not sure your expectations are accurate of what Rich should have done.
I think it's a little fair that I think it's a little fair that at least you would just talk to me.
Well, I'm agreeing with that.
That's not a hard expectation.
Yeah, no, I mean, there we agree. I don't think we agree after that on what
that's
Rich
fine.
should have done.
So
but he should have talked to you at least.
Yeah. What happened with you and Rich?
I'm not going to say a lot about that because I kind of want to keep that to some degree private, although some of it's public. and I can't speak to what happened on his side, except that he determined that I was unsafe, unkind, and cruel.
Okay.
But I mean, there were a lot of things over the years that happened, but one of them was that after I developed, Rich and I together developed Journey to Manhood, and then after I co-developed Journey Beyond, it was agreed with the board of People Could Change that there would be a royalty paid to pay me for the time, which was a vast amount of time in developing it, staffing it, and I had to actually lose work hours. I lost money when I went to the retreat.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't work the days that I was off at the retreat, I couldn't see clients. And so they paid me a royalty, and then at a certain point the board voted to stop that royalty, and so they just stopped paying me. It was a substantial amount of money, and it's a little more dramatic than that. I'm not going to go into the details, but they really fucked me over. Financially.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty seriously fucked me over. And I talked to them several times, and they're like, well, we're grateful for what you've done, we're just not going to pay you for it. I'm like,
of course.
That's great. I'm grateful at the grocery store, too, but I still have to pay them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that was the first thing. And then the second thing that happened, the biggest thing, was that when I decided I was going to come out, when I was going to leave my wife and come out, I confided that in Rich because I wanted to give him the benefit of knowing beforehand, because I sensed that it might become public and it might be a story. I had no idea how big of a story it was going to become, but I thought that it could get out, and that people could change my need to answer questions he might need to know in advance. So I told him a few months before that it was going to happen, and told him that I wanted him to be prepared so that when I came out, when I announced it myself, he would have kind of a response ready for the media. And then what he chose to do was, so my wife then, as things were moving forward, she was in a women's group online, virtually, and she told them what was going on. They told other people, while they were sworn to secrecy, but they told other people. Rumors started happening. When those rumors got back to Rich, he himself announced to a Facebook group, a closed Facebook group, that was happening.
The alumni group?
Yeah, he didn't tell me that he was going to announce it. I had asked him to wait until after I announced it, but he did it before me, and the only reason...
Which is damaging.
Which is damaging, and which, I mean, you don't out someone.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
Yeah, it's a hard no, and he did it in this group, and he didn't even tell me he didn't even tell me he had done it. The way I found out about it was that a friend of mine who's on that group called me and said, Dave, Rich just announced your divorce and that you're coming out. And then 10 minutes after that, I got a call from a gay activist, anti-conversion therapy watchdog guy named Matheson.
Yeah, we're very good friends, by the way.
I do not like or respect that man in the least. He's Rich Weiler, just on the other side. If you want my personal opinion,
Fair enough.
I despise him. He gave me 10 minutes to come up with a response.
Sounds like him.
Yeah, I was not prepared, so I grabbed some paragraphs out of my journal, basically, sent them to him. They were terrible paragraphs. He put that out to the media. The media went crazy with it, and it was a very unpleasant 3 or 4 months after that. So what I resented about Rich...
How did that affect your mental health?
I'm in therapy still.
I know.
I mean, those issues are not what I'm dealing with now in therapy, but it was pretty intense. I mean, I thought I was fine for a long time, but then gradually over time I realized that I was not fine. So yeah, so that's kind of the top of the list of why I don't like Rich Weiler.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that he continues to do the work that he's doing after I came out, after it became public, he on another forum that a friend of mine sent me screenshots from his phone. He was blaming me for it. He was saying, Dave, stop doing his work. This is happening because Dave is arrogant and doesn't do his own work. So he blamed me for being gay, basically. Kind of a classic conversion therapy thing. You're gay because you're not doing your work or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no fondness for Rich. We share that.
So, here's the reason why that I was wanting to have the meeting with you. It's something that you consider. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to take your services, but I would like you to consider going for your PhD. I think it would be helpful.
No chance in hell that's going to happen.
Okay.
I'm 63.
There's older people than you that go into their PhD.
I've thought about it many times. There's zero interest in that, and also no money to it. I would be in debt. I mean, I'm already being in debt the rest of my life, but but zero interest in.
So what makes it like? Have you ever thought in life, like, what do you want to be known for?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I don't need a PhD to do that.
Fair enough. So what do you want to be known for?
Honestly, I want to be known as the guy that realized he was wrong, came out and provided excellent resources for the gay community to heal and grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
How about you?
I want to be known for somebody that makes a difference. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going for my PhD in listening to harms as a Black conversion therapy survivor, and
that would be a great contribution.
Yeah. So that's my goal. But
yeah, I think that the harms of conversion therapy, if you kind of define it very broadly, because there's lots of different ways of defining conversion therapy.
I understand.
Because a lot of people, I only include it as conversion therapy, an actual therapy session between a client and a therapist. But I understand that there are broader definitions of conversion therapy, which mean if you've got a pastor that's encouraging a parishioner to repress their sexuality, that's not conversion therapy. That's part of the same movement, and it's also extremely damaging.
Yeah.
So there's room for a lot of research and particularly a lot of research that leads to clinical skills for therapists like myself and others to know how to work with people. Because the number of people who have undergone that sort of conversion therapy writ large that's a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just curious on where your head was at and what you were thinking about with the assistance piece, because I wasn't really sure. No ill will. I just wanted to learn from you a bit, because I realized that we didn't really have a conversation. We didn't really have a proper conversation about the things. But yeah. Or even where my head is at. I didn't think you knew or understood where my head was at with that.
I did to some degree, but that was a long time ago, and I've talked to a lot of people since then. So, one of the things I appreciate about this conversation is that you're making me aware, before I even get started on this new retreat idea, of the fact that there are people that are probably going to walk through the door, they're probably going to show up on a retreat, they're going to be dangerous to other people. And I saw that in various ways through the Journey to Manhood community. Your story is one of the more extreme, but there are other stories similar, not similar as in being stalked necessarily, but where one unhealthy guy can create a lot of havoc inside a community. And there needs to be, like you said, to use your term, there needs to be a contingency plan. Should have to be somewhat broad, because there's so many ways it can happen. There needs to be a contingency plan for how to handle those situations, how to protect people that are vulnerable to other people. Because the people that come on these retreats are vulnerable people.
That scared the shit out of me. I could have died.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the circumstance, but
when
trust you were scared.
When that, it happened twice, but the first time that it happened, so he worked in the U.S. military, and he drove. Like, I didn't have a lot of gay friends, and I lived in a small community in Canada. My family came from immigrant families, and so like I didn't have access to the queer community at that point. He wanted me to buy weed. I didn't smoke weed at the time just because I was like upset with my father. My dad's a Rastaman, so he's from Jamaica. Like, he's like,
Oh.
yeah. So like, and I knew this at 16 years old. I said shit to nobody, and that's the reason why that gym was a viable option for me. Via media, that was the only way that I could come out. The only way. And then I banned conversion therapy in Canada with the strongest legislation in the world. I have contacts with the Canadian government, had Justin Trudeau tweet me, regardless of what you feel with Justin Trudeau. But
I have a big toward him other than he's handsome.
fair enough.
I don't really know much about his politics.
But even still, this guy wanted me to buy, so he wanted me to buy weed. I did. And he said, oh, just to let you know, weed makes me horny. I was like, oh, okay, it makes me sleepy, but whatever. So we smoked in my car, and then we went back to bed. I was like, he tried to kiss me. I said, I'm sorry, I can't do this. He says, I'm not. He tries to kiss me again. He whispers something. I said, what? And then he says, take off your pants. I said, no. Take them off! And like yelling at me in rage. And so like I was a Christian at that time, and I remember grabbing him by his head. I'm like, God, if you're there, help me get my friend back. And then he was like,
that makes more sense.
And then he's like, yeah, you want to get fucked? Do you? No, I don't. Yeah, you do. No, I do not. After I took off my pants. And then so I grabbed my pants, I went to my sofa, was trying to sleep, and there was light tapping over my forehead, and he was over my forehead.
Wow.
I'm not exaggerating. This shit could have killed me.
That's scary.
Yeah.
How much therapy have you had on that?
Thousands and thousands of dollars of therapy.
Oh wow, it's still painful. I'm sorry that happened to you. Even though I had nothing to do with it, I'm sorry that happened to you.
You don't have to have that. You don't have to have that second phrase. But even still, like, I had no contingency plan. I had nobody to talk to. I was automatically the problem, and it wasn't even me.
You were automatically the problem.
Rich, because Rich is a racist. Remember, he didn't give a shit about what I thought, what I felt. He just gave a shit about money.
That's Rich. I had the same experience with him when I told him at some point I went back to him and complained to him about outing me. I said that wasn't cool, basically. And he said I did what I had to do to protect the community. And I said, so it's the well-being of the community over the well-being of any individual.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
He's a horrible person.
It's an organization for wounded people, and the organization is more important than any people to him. That's backward. And that's Rich. That's him.
Like, poor spent $20,000 of his own money.
Who?
You know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just a little shaken from what happened, even still. But
Yeah, I am.
thank you for talking to me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But talk again?
All right.
Okay.
Well, take care.
Bye.
Bye.